After this very cinematic start, I would like to say that I used Gertie's Peter Pan Bolero pattern as a base, but I drafted the rest myself, meaning the lapels, the collars, the facings, sleeves and cuffs. I'm very grateful to Minerva Fabrics for sending me this beautiful boiled wool and the lining to make the bolero, and also my lovely friend Samantha, who was so kind to send me a pattern, but it got lost in the mail. These are the pattern pieces. This is the bolero back with the darts, the bolero front with the lapel, the front facing, as I drafted it myself, and the collar. I ended up drafting more facing pieces, of course, and these are the front and back pieces connected at the seams, and these are the collar pieces, and there are 2 for each collar, and they will be sewn all around and then connected in the middle. So I notched them so they would sit better, and I'm also understitching them because it's a very thick fabric and otherwise it will not sit well. And I'm making sure that I'm catching all the seams with my stitches. I am pinning the collar pieces at the back neck very carefully so they are very well centered, and now I am sewing them, making sure that everything is very well aligned and centered. I moved on to sewing the facing pieces together and also adding fusible interfacing at the front facings. And after that, I pinned all the facings to the bolero, right sides together, being careful to align everything and to put the facings in the right place, especially around the lapels and the back neck area. After sewing all the facings, I am cutting the seam allowances because there's a lot of bulk all around, especially in the back neck area. There was 3 layers of fabric there to be exact, and I'm also creating notches at the curves. And now I'm understitching all around the facings because, again, as I said, it's a very thick fabric and there's a lot of bulk on the inside. So I like the facings to have something to hang on to, like the inside seams, so everything will stay in place. And this was the most difficult bit because I had to constantly check that I'm not stitching the wrong piece of fabric. And moving on to the lining pieces, which again I had to draft myself, and here I have connected them at the side and the shoulder seams. And then I will be connecting the lining to the jacket. I actually forgot to record this part. I'm really sorry. I am really sorry. But I actually sewed right sides together and then turned it around. Or I should say that I pulled it towards the inside of the jacket. And now the cuffs. I'm not sure how I'm going to explain this to you because I really improvised here. So I cut 4 rectangle pieces, 2 for each cuff, that are larger than the sleeves. You can see it here in this still. And I marked the seam allowance of the sleeves so I can connect them at that point. But then the seam allowance will become a lot smaller so that the cuff is larger than the sleeve. I don't know if it makes sense, but I will try to show it to you. You can see these arrows are showing where the seams are going to go. So after sewing the side seams of the cuffs, I have pinned them to the sleeves, wrong side of the cuff to the right side of the sleeve. Trust me, there's a method to my madness, as they say. So now I will turn it the other way and you see how it is going to work. So now I'm going to turn it again, and now we see the right side of the cuff. And we have a nice big cuff without a lot of fabric thickness, which is basically why I did it this way, because I tried the other way and it was too much bulk. So here you can see I have pinned where I need to hand sew the outside of the cuff, and you can see my beautiful hand sewing, joking of course, where I sewed the lining to the cuff. And after this last bit, the bolero will be ready.